I don't really have to tell you who I am because you saw the title. You toggled on to my channel, so it's rather obvious, but I have to do this for my viewers. Here I am, Leon C, aka Morpheus. And you are in the Academy of Wowmen. And we are here to learn something today. And now, according to the title, I have been getting requests about these emotional things, and this might take a little time. What I mean is there may be more questions after this, and I can get deep into the psychology, and it definitely blends into the spirit realm as well. The people who are texting me, emailing me, and asking me these questions, usually it's saying, well, are you talking about when it comes to marriage, relationships, and decisions that you make that emotions don't mean anything? That emotions are not important. And a few of them would say, well, Dr. Morpheus, being sarcastic, Dr. Morpheus, are you saying we should just be like robots, have no feelings? I have my concern for my life, and I love my children. I love my wife. I love things. I like things. I have feelings, and I have emotional attachment to stuff that is in my environment. So are you saying for me to just completely detach from it and not concern myself with the emotions? And so I have decided to use this as a lesson plan today. And we're going to get some clarity on emotions. Okay? The number one thing on emotions, when there is a discussion of how I say that truth don't care about your emotions, logic don't care about your emotions, the nature don't care about your emotions, it's based on the decisions that are made by emotions. The things about emotions is on a different dimension. It's on a different playing field that you have to use when the time is right. And what I will tell you, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself with telling you this, but that's okay, because I'm gonna break it down where you can understand later on in our lesson plan today, is that you must learn how to use your emotions at the right time. But you should never use your emotion when it comes to making vital decisions in your life. You have to detach emotions away from it first before you can apply the emotions such as happiness, feeling good, the intimacy, the liking, sadness, sorrow, or being angry, or being disappointed. These things should come after you deal with it logically. This is the zone where you become mature. This is when you have to have self-discipline and separate yourself from the situation, even if it hurts you. And there are many things that hurt us as men in this generation and this time that we are living in this country. And going a little bit further with this, and I'm just creating a path for you here before I really get into it with my fork and spoon. This is how, as well, many people, individuals and ladies, women around your country and in the diaspora becomes woefully confused and mistaken emotions as to something that has to be destroyed, deteriorated, and that she does not have to embrace at all. Because within the emotions also there is a form of your own identity. It's a form of being naturally you. It's a form of being connected with your environment that gives you effects that make you feel a certain way. And as you are feeling a certain way, it inspires your natural personality. It inspires how you deal with people around you, or how you adjust your lens to whatever movies that you watch, whatever video games you may play, whoever you want to go to cut your hair or to do your hair, or who you prefer to work on your automobile. All those things can be tied into your emotions, because your emotions is how those things affect you. And usually there is an organic behind it. Usually there is a person that is there who's helping the inspiration, such as your co-worker, your employee, or your employer, or whoever is you have signed up as a contract to work for you or to do something for you, because they make you smile, they make you feel good, comfortable, safe, or you trust them, or you just have a better sense of ease when you are around them because you have some sort of history and camaraderie with that person. So therefore, your emotions are tethered there, even if it's not in its extreme. It doesn't have to be to the point where you're intimate with that person and they are the most important person in your life, or collaborator, cooperative partner, donkey dunk partner, whoever that they may be. They can just be on the shallow water end, like an associate or somebody that you discuss whatever that you deal with on a daily basis. And still, there's a little bit of emotions there. You just don't let it ride with you. However, there is a distinctful neutral ground and balance between your emotions and your logic. The distinctful balance between your emotions versus your logic is something that is based on priority, meaning that you don't let your emotions ride first. You don't let your emotions make the decision. You let your mind, your knowledge and your wisdom make your decisions, and definitely your experience make your decisions. And therefore, once you use your strategy, once you use your mind, once you use your logic and the calculations of your knowledge that you have filtered through the vast pool and frequency of information, then afterwards, when it's said and done, naturally your emotions are going to attach to whatever that item, whatever that person, or whatever the situation is. So therefore, logic is leading first, emotions is leading second. You see that? You see how that works? Logic is leading first. Intelligence, using your experience and your wisdom, is leading first. So therefore, you have a lesser probability and lesser issues of tethering to mistakes, are generating a pool of mistakes when you are thinking first and putting your emotions second place. So if that item or that person who you have latched onto, whether they be your donkey dunk partner, your wife, girlfriend, or associate, or whoever that may be around you, what will happen is, naturally, I don't want to lose my place here and look like I'm almost dead. You'll begin to see things differently, and you have a better trajectory of your success rate. And as a matter of fact, you'll have an easier time dealing with that person and also making logical maneuverings and adjustments to apply to yourself in that situation to succeed, or to elevate yourself to achieve whatever goal you and that partner or person is seeking as a unit to succeed together. All right. Now, when you find this, and you have, when you find out that there is a neutral ground, many people, they do know whether they want to escape the idea, or whether they are hurt in their past, or some type of dilemma have occurred within their mind, or within their construct, within their experience, meaning how they were raised, what husband or wife that they were with at the time. Eventually, they'll look at the middle ground, which is a neutral ground, having self-discipline and understanding that logic comes first and not emotions. They rather not deal with it at all, because that means they have to be responsible for one of the most hardest things that I have to break down and express to you, or explain to you, as your professor. And I know you are Neo in this academy, so I will always address you as Neo, and me being Morpheus, I will begin to give you the red pill, because I'm going to dig in deeper, and there may be some things I will repeat because I want you to remember, and I want you to put it into your subconscious mind, and it's going to also help me to continue forward as we are diving deep into this rabbit hole. So I'm going to go ahead and give you this red pill, and I'm going to take mine right now, as you can hear, and we're going to get into this. We're going to be emotional together. Let's talk about emotions. Now, let's get right into it. Emotions is important. It's just not to be used nor designed in decision making. But the problem with decision making from emotions is the extringent difficulty of determining the differences between value versus the actual function of whatever that your emotions are tethered to, are your intimate feelings. Because oftentimes we are only simple human beings with simple problems, and we make our failures on the often where we attach our feelings, or we attach ourselves to things that we have a intimate connection with, or it has a valuable past with whatever object it might be or person that it may be. So therefore, we equate our decisions, or we equate the value of how we feel versus that particular subject or object of our interest, even if that thing hurts us, or he or she is a problem for our life. So it becomes a filtering process where only the mature, only the strong, only those who love themselves to a degree where they are defenseful of where they put their emotions at, where they lay their heart, where they focus their interests on, is very careful to enrich what they invest their emotions in, which has an ability to give them feelings, whether it is a donkey dunk sexual feeling, whether it is a sad feeling, whether it is a reputable feeling, whether it is a disturbing feeling, or whether it's just plain good feeling or neutral feeling. Now, the second stages of this going further is considered to be mind control. And now I can go deeper into this, and I'm going to try to make it simple. And I know this is going to be some future questions. I know people are going to have more questions about this. But I will tell you, as a person of self-discipline in the mind, myself being, of course, I'm Morpheus. I'm all into that. Okay, because I can go deeper than the deeper Red Sea, to where the lignity in conversation will be pretty much hard to comprehend by many people who are listening, but I don't want to do you like that. So I have to take it one stage to the next. Emotions have a lot of affiliation with mind control. Mind control is a very valuable asset. It's a very essential asset to your life, where your mind control has a lot to do with where you are determining the thin line or the barrier between your emotions and your logic. Men are very easy to deal with this, even though, of course, it takes a certain amount of time. A lot of times men have to deal with hard knocks. They have to bump their head against brick walls a few times, and they have to meet the crossroads a few times in order for them to realize that they have to take control of themselves and use their logical calculations to filter out the decimators and the denominators and the numerators of their life. They're going to have to function within the dividends, and to divide that which is important versus what is truly an asset in their surrounding world. So therefore, within the particular individual, which will be in this case a man's mind, depending on his maturity and what his experience have tethered into his life and elevated him, he should, even on normal occasions, use simple logic instead of emotions to deal with his situations, because he thinks about the consequences, and he should think about the future consequences of his actions, or with his dealings with that particular subject that have gave him certain feelings. Yes, men have feelings, gave him certain feelings and effects according to his emotions and according to his investment. So therefore, he ends up struggling the line. He struggles between being emotionally invested versus being physically invested in whatever that object or item might be. The trickery about this is when a woman comes along into the scene, given that on a general basis, men's emotions or his mindset is usually going to be combined in a collaborative compound of interest and energy, sexual energy, with the woman that he's with. Oftentimes, if she is a good lay, if she's a good donkey dunker or professional one, and she's able to make him feel good in multiple places within his life that others aren't capable of doing, then he's willing, or I would say more willing and more probable, to invest even his emotions and his heart with that particular girl. But this is how men end up being bamboozled. This is how they end up being in divorce court. This is how they end up creating a child without being responsible for it, meaning the situation, not him or her being irresponsible. What I mean is bringing a child into an irresponsible situation that wasn't thought out, but it was based on an emotional investment and not future consequences and what is going to be the results of both parties bonding to create this innocent, cute little human being. So mind control also can dip into the black, dark arts of your spirit and your mind. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. Okay. But I'm going to jump over the dark arts, and I'm going to go to another chapter here because I want the dark arts to be last, because it's one of the most interesting subjects, because we do it sometimes and we don't often know that we do it. Okay. An individual who do not know how to control their emotions, all right, is a weak-minded person. If you cannot control your emotions, you are a weak-minded person. You are weak. You are fragile. You are a tether to the wind, and you are a liability for yourself and for those who are around you. Now, you have heard me speak about in my Academy of Wildman many times that if a person is always thriving with their emotions and they don't think forward and within their logic, or they don't make their calculations based on understanding where the neutral ground is, or the balance, okay, that these people, you don't need to tolerate them. And I will consider those people often low value people, are the lowest hanging fruit, are a liability and a obstruction in your life. And a lot of times when you hear on a general basis, there are men who do that as well. A lot of women who say that they feel as if having a compassionate bone in their body, are being sensitive to the winds of man's nature, or being a collaborative compound in the man's life, or component for his life, is considered to be weak. A lot of women who say that if they show a certain amount of emotion, or if they show emotions, it's a sign of weakness. All right. And they are dead wrong. Because what happens is these individuals are getting past the point of mind control. They don't want to deal with the struggle of logic versus an illogical action, because it requires responsibility. And what did I just tell you? It takes logic. It takes sitting down and calculating your priorities in order to control your mind. And in order to control your mind, you have to be strong enough to be able to do that. Now listen carefully. When you have to take control over your feelings and your logical mind, all right, you're in a wrestle with your consciousness versus your subconsciousness versus your consciousness. And in this academy, this is actually the senior level of your learning. So therefore, if you have been following me and practicing and studying my content, our content, you'll begin to comprehend what I mean about your subconsciousness. Your subconsciousness contain either your instinct blockers, or is going to be the very reason that you are controlled. The very reason why you are struggling in your life is going to be the very reason why you are unhealthy, why you are sick all the time, why you're always stressed out, why you got sleep apnea, why you cannot hear the voice of God, why you are not the best version of yourself, is because your subconscious mind is filled with poisons, filled with GMOs. That's genetically modified organisms, or genetically modified food in this case. Okay. It's filled with medications. It's filled with vaccinations. It's filled with all sorts of unnatural seedless fruits and vegetables that you have been introducing your body to. So therefore, your subconsciousness becomes a black box that you cannot toggle into. You yourself don't even have the keys to get into the black consciousness of your black box because of the life that you have lived. So therefore, you begin to struggle, or shall I say that individual begins to struggle the differences between a logical action versus an illogical action, something that's going to harm them in the future, or long-term planning. Do you get that? Long-term planning. All right. So individuals who are willing to look over controlling their own mind are usually afraid because they can't deal with themselves. They're afraid to face themselves. They're afraid to face the dark corners of their life. They are afraid to be accountable for their actions. They are afraid to put aside what is not important to their life and others, okay, and do what is right. Because a lot of people, a lot of immature individuals love to do what is wrong, or love to do what is comfortable, love to do what is easier to do. So therefore, they don't have to be accountable for wrestling between their conscious mind and their unconscious mind, because they've been living in their unconscious mind their whole life. So therefore, it equates to why they are considered to be a weak-minded person. And this individual will constantly cause failures in your life, constantly cause emotional struggle for you. They will constantly cause unnecessary decisions based on emotions and not on logic, because if you have to deal with the logic, that means there's going to always be a ping pong battle between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, which is usually locked away in a black box if you have allowed your instincts to be distorted. I teach you on often how it's important to be a conscious individual with your third eye aware and able to dig into your subconscious mind and control it, and not allow your subconscious mind to be controlled by television, the media, bad foods, false information, and emotions. So if most times individuals or people have not had, or they have not enabled themselves to do so, they disable themselves by going along with the sheeple, by going along with the program, by being indoctrinated comfortably and satisfied in indoctrination. So therefore, they don't liberate themselves. They actually obliterate themselves of being able to be a free individual. So the result of this is they are chained down. They are mentally in chains. Their mind is encamped in a black box. Their mind is encamped in a mental struggle that they can't alleviate themselves from, and definitely not immediately. Because when the time comes, when crucial decisions need to be made versus that which is emotional and that which isn't emotional, okay, they will struggle with this. And also the continuing results of this is an individual and a person becoming zombiac. A zombiac person is one who is willingly and obligated to themselves not to ever think about the distinction between being conscious and unconscious. They don't care about being an emotional or non-emotional individual. They will go with whatever energy comes their way. And here we go. Usually that's going to be an emotional one, because a lot of our generated society in the Westernized civilization is based on emotions anyway. Emotions have always been the thing that have ran people forward and ran people off of the road of their life and made them create bad decisions, okay, and create a terrible future for themselves and for their families. All right. And also emotions as well, when it is bred like that, when it is implemented into your life, when it becomes an impervious rock that you cannot get over or pass, then that person or yourself will be used and manipulated. Because you are a bundle of emotions and an illogical species, you become manipulated because you manipulate yourself as well. When, however, emotions is important, which I'm going to get to in a moment, it is important, and it is an asset to your success but it just doesn't need to come first. It doesn't need to be the thing that you put out there first. And however, when a person feels as if their emotions are pointless and it means nothing at all, period, then you are getting into the dark recesses of yourself. Now you're becoming a dark heart individual, and your colorful skies will immediately become gray. And for some women are usually made to be a certain emotional bandwidth, such as some men as well. Even though men only show it a different way, emotions are important. They are valid. Everything that is in your body is an important thing. And by having mind control, you got to know that your sadness, your pain, your anger, your energy, and what you feel can actually be used as a power and not as a weakening part of you. People who think that emotions is just a weakening part of themselves, again, they have no control over themselves. They have a very weak mind, and it's actually a slap in God's face, because nothing of yourself should go to waste. It is all important, and it should be used at the right time. Every weapon in your cash drawer, every tool that you have in your garage, every machine or device that you have around you, they have their own place and zone to be used. Everything used at its own time. Timing is everything. Right time, right place, and right moment, where that particular tool can be used perfectly for that situation. That's the same as your emotions. But getting into this, now you can get into the dark arts real easy, but it doesn't have to be the dark arts or the dark recesses of yourself. Whereas when you know yourself, you know the best that you can be. You are the best version of yourself. It will not be a session or an apparatus of you digging into or diving into the dark recesses of yourself, where you become a dark heart by manipulating your own feelings. You understand? It will actually be a way of controlling yourself. It will be a way of evolving. It will be a way of applying your emotions whereas it is needed, or whereas the subject or object is worthwhile your emotional investment. That's why I tell you often, be careful who you invest yourself with. No long-term relationship, no marriage. Trust should be earned. You put people on a principle level. You have standards. Therefore, you are able to align yourself should that person or subject be proper for you and they line up to your program. If there's some emotional investment, or if you find yourself tethering emotionally by feelings towards something or someone, at least you have a higher chance and a higher percentage of success, and you'll be investing somewhere that is a lot more qualifiable to support you and make you better, okay, than it is for something that will immediately obliterate you and destroy you, because you have no principles, no standards, and no zone or no focus point for your investments to rest on as a stable foundation. Do you get that? Now, here's the game plan. In order to destroy you, Agent Smith and his indoctrinated system and program of the Matrix knows how to attack you, and the way that they attack you is through your dark energy and your dark mind. And now we're getting back to what I told you is going to get back to, which is the dark energy and the dark orifices of your emotions and your mind. How it is being played on you, and has been played for years, is when you are ignorant to yourself and uneducated about your own anatomy, your struggles, and you don't pay attention to your own mental illnesses that you deal with daily. You overlook all the signs. You take medications. You inject yourself with everything. You take under and over the counter pills and inducement and introductions. All right. And you go along with every program that is applied to you. And every step of the way, Agent Smith is finding ways to throw darts at you, if not arrows or rockets. And how this is done is by lying to you. You are around people who love manipulating your emotions. You are around people who can't trust you. You are around people who, you can't trust them. That's what I mean to say. People that you can't trust. Okay. You are around people who disappoint you. You are around people who will probably hurt your feelings, disappoint you, break your heart, this sort of thing. Anything that is valuable to you, Agent Smith will find a way to turn it around. Your most vital part is your emotions. So your emotions for years have been used, especially for women, to be a manipulative opening door to be attacked. And it has been attacked for many millennia on purpose. So therefore, the more your emotions are attacked, the more you can't trust people, the more you don't want to feel anymore because you think it's a form of weakness. The more you think that when you love is going to fail you. The list goes on. The more your energy becomes darker and darker and darker and darker. It comes dark to the point where you can't feel like you used to. It's to the point where now your whole life is plutonic. And the latter part of it is when you become jaded. You become jaded, you become bitter, and you become a very tasteless human being that don't really need to be around anybody, but you can stay at home as Mrs. or Mr. Scrooge in your own misery, in your own little circle, and where you need to be at, not be around people. And at this point, even children, innocent children and people can pick up on your energy. That dark energy also is a tethering to your spirit and to your soul, where that spirit becomes darkened. And then, of course, I can go further than that, which I'm going to leave it open just for right now. You get into voodoo, you get into dark worship and stuff like that. OK, but in the shallow part of this is where you just become a very dark person. You become bitter because you don't trust anybody. And all you need to do to get ahead, you think, is always manipulation. Get what you want, go home. Now, another tall tale sign that you have probably came across one of these people is when they can have sex with you and they're gone. Almost like a drop in the hat. Like, okay, here we go. It's over. Okay, let's go. No feelings, no connection, no callback. You know, they can just donkey dunk with you for about half an hour to an hour. You never see them again. They don't call back, and then they'll make excuses why they don't want to see you. They're in the beginning phase of becoming darkened. They're in the beginning phase. And as a matter of fact, it may not even be the beginning phase. And then they're probably just completely dark anyway, because that means they have totally disconnected themselves from emotional attachment. They destroyed themselves from being able to peer bond. It's almost like a pencil. You sharpen up a pencil where it's very sharp, a number 2 pencil. And the more you use it, the edge of it gets dull. Or you take a piece of metal, you sharpen the metal up and you keep swinging it at a rock. And the more you do it, that blade edge becomes dull. It becomes beat up. So this type of dull potential, like a darkened window, which is smoked out, happens to the inner circle of that person, and it happens to their soul. It creeps to their soul because it becomes permanent. Right? And how this gets to the point, how it begins is that when you let the enemy in your front lines is your mind control. What I tell you, the front line is knowing that there is a barrier between your logic and your emotions, where you apply your emotions after you know it's the right time to do so, when your standards are out there and it's a logical decision and you did the math first. OK, and you're going to, no matter what, invest some sort of emotions, or to a certain degree. That degree may be heightened or lessened to a minimum, depending on the potential of that subject, item, or that person. So it's going to be there whether you like it or not. But when that object have a potential to be greater for you, where it is actually a good person, or it's a good item, it's a good energy, it's a good situation that can provide you with the means of success, and you still don't have any control over your emotions or yourself, and you rather fly in a low valley lifestyle, you rather aim low instead of aim high, you willingly open yourself up for your dark energy to come in and to beat at your emotions and to thwart it, because you start making mistakes you'll lose your opportunity, or what is the worst, and you know about this, a lot of people have done this before, you end up hurting someone else because of your lack of being able to open up. You end up hurting someone else who have quality to actually enlighten you and to raise up your horizons. But because you lack the ability of self-control, you lack being able to understand and overstand your subconscious mind and your own emotions, you miss your opportunity, and it does nothing but hurt you further. It would do nothing but break your heart further, and it's not going to do anything but cause you to go deeper into the dark orifices of your mind and of yourself. So therefore, it is essentially important that mind control, that means controlling your own mind, okay, is the breadwinner. It's not about you being emotional. Being emotional don't mean that you're weak. That just means you're using the wrong energy to deal with the situation. You're using the wrong tool, which is going to hurt you, and it's going to hurt everybody else in the decision making. It's the wrong tool at the wrong time. You use logical decision first. You calculate the information and you filter it out to get wisdom and knowledge from it. Then when the situation is good for you, when the grass is actually green, when the way is made for you and it is logical, no matter if it works out or does not work out, the results of it is still going to be a benefit somewhere. Then you can apply whatever investment that item makes you feel, or actually will educe from you, to educe from you. All right. Or to introduce you to. Then therefore you have an opportunity to get somewhere in the right track. Now you are thinking before you act. Now you aren't putting emotions first, where your emotions can be manipulated. Emotions is not the problem. It may seem as if I am attacking emotions. It may seem as if I am preaching or teaching unto you as your professor that emotions have no means. It does. Every part of you have a mean. Every asset of yourself can be used as power, but because we are such weakened species, because our mind is manipulated by Agent Smiths everywhere, and we want to do what other people are doing. We use even words. I told you, words is also a trigger to the dark circles of your mind, to the dark zone and tunnels of your soul. So the way people use words in this new generation, this modern day Western civilization, can also trigger your emotions, and it can also beat at your emotions. Where you are enlightened with bright colors, now you are darkened with darker colors: black, velvet, gray, very, very dark purple, very, very dark red, garnet red, not bright red, it's garnet red. So these things start beating at you because you have allowed yourself not to entrench yourself or merge yourself with proper knowledge and understanding who you are by controlling your feelings and being the best that you can be. And the ultimate tool that will help you through all this confusion, which I probably made it even more confusing for you, which can help you through all this confusion, is called your instincts. Your instincts and your awareness, having your instincts clear, having your mind clear, having a clear comprehension of your environment and what's going on in your current world will steer you in the right direction. If somebody's telling you that an enemy's trying to destroy you, and how they trying to destroy you is through your emotions, or just basically through your nature, you would think twice. And that's what Agent Smith is doing. Agent Smith is attacking every vital part of yourself, whether it might be keeping you from having a decent companion, whether it might be putting you in a position where you can't trust anyone, or whether you feel like you can't be emotional because people are going to look down at you and you think being emotion is a part of weakness, and it's not. Emotions don't mean you're weak. Again, you're just using the wrong tool at the wrong time, but you can be emotional, and it's natural to be emotion. And when you have an essence of emotions, that's actually a good indicator that you are alive and you are not dead. Should you rather be dead and pretend as if you are alive, You are your own devil, and you are the problem, not your situation. It is in truth easier to try to prevent your feelings from rising. It is easier to dive into the dark recesses of yourself and be a walking automaton for many people. It's comfortable. I comprehend. It's very comfortable. It's comfortable to get into the point where you will feel like love does not exist, or it's irrelevant to existence, or it's irrelevant to life. And it depends on the context of where you're coming from. It depends on who you are dealing with. It depends on the animal that you are with. I got to use it in that context, in that phrase. It depends on the animal that you're with. That animal can be your situation. It can be your companion, your wife, or your husband. Okay, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist at all in existence. That doesn't mean that love is irrelevant and it never existed since the beginning of mankind. All right, I'm not even going to get into that in this audio or in this lesson. Okay, but I will tell you that it's more easier to walk around and get into the negative energy of gossip, to talk about people. There's so many people who love bad news. They're interested in everything blowing up and catching on fire. All right. That's what excites a lot of people. And especially when you're driving on the road or you go in certain places, many people will rubberneck if they see any of the flashing emergency lights that are on the side of the road, especially mangled metal or whatever that happens. That is an obvious chaos that have occurred. Many people on a general basis will be interested in trying to figure it out because it's a part of drama. It's a part of something that for some people, a certain sides of town, it doesn't happen every day. So it becomes an interesting theme. So we bridge that into our life. We watch that in horror movies. We watch that on drama shows because it's something that interests us. But it's a lot more easier. But for so many people, it's a lot more difficult as well to understand how to control their emotions and to actually still be able to enable themselves to have a certain amount of compassion, be inspirational, and not be lackluster in their environment. We get to the point now in the history of this country where there's a lot more drama, destruction, and heartless positions that are being situated. There's a lot more people that are getting into relationships only for the basic financial fundamentals. There are so many people who are attaching themselves to items and people only for the sake of what it can do for them, not what it can do for others. Because of the lack of compassion, the lack of concern and love for other people, are sacrifice that it requires, because generally they have not experienced what it means to really care for someone. There are so many people who have been raised up in a improper family, and I'm not going to say whether it is a single family, whether it's a broken home, whether it's just being raised up by a mom or a dad, because the situation varies when it's concerned with this subject. It has a lot of it's an apparatus of many other type of branches that can be distorted depending on the situation itself, or the mind of the parents or the guardians, or if they're step parents, or whether they may be same-sex parents. Regardless of what it is, that child or those people who are involved in that family only know what is being inspired in front of it, only know what's being introduced to them, being displayed before their face, and being practiced on the daily basis. So there are many people that we encounter that just don't know what it really means. They never needed to, nor have they had the opportunity to dig into those emotions or the ability to control their emotions, because nobody have brought the best out of them. No one have brought them to that pinnacle or have steered them like a horse to the water to drink. And therefore, when you or I or another person encounters these people with a tortured type of lifestyle, which is kind of obscured and different, then you come up with trying to understand that person. Then you have a unique relationship where you just simply trying to figure out that person. And most times it's because that person don't even know how to figure out themselves. So you end up bringing out certain emotions within that person's confines, within that person's black box, that person's subconsciousness. This also leads to domestic violence. This leads to certain anger triggers. This leads to certain types of this person becoming a chameleon before you, or this person talking to you and doing things that they've never done before. This is another indicator for men. This is another indicator as well. When you get with a girl and she only acts a certain way around you, she will talk to you a certain way. She has a certain amount of affections that she's willing to give unto you. But when another man comes around, or when her ex was there, or the things she used to do maybe in the past, or some of the friends, even collaborated friends that may be around her, okay, colleagues, if she comes to them and she's acting a different way, that's room for alarm. That's valid room to worry about why is she giving them a certain energy based on how she's giving it to you. And it depends on what it is. Either it can be plutonic, but the worst of it is if she is a lot more open, a lot more flirtatious, a lot more willing to laugh, and her guard is down further, okay, that's an alarm. That's letting you know that she is still a black box when she's with you. She is preventing and she is holding back other parts of her performance that she's not willing to share with you. And she's used to holding it back for so long where it's another personality of her own. So when she gets around her girlfriends, and when she gets around her colleagues or other guys, or especially her exes or her husbands, okay, which I don't advise anyway, but y'all dumb enough to do it, okay, she will flip the script. She'll turn into a totally different person altogether. She may talk to you for 5 minutes. She may talk to them for half an hour. She may chuckle with you for a couple of seconds, but she will laugh at their joke as if they're actually tickling her ribs and putting a feather in her nose, or whatever that they do to tickle a person, tickle spots, she's just giggling like she's drunk. Okay. That's the emotional effect that she have invested with that person. And it's hard for you to have the ability to gain that same affection from her, because she have invested in them one way or the other. This is another indicator as well, how some men can be jealous of their girlfriends, are turned off by their girlfriends, are kind of worried and on edge whenever their wife or their female friend ends up around her other female friends, because that energy that she's giving them, she should be giving you. The same way she's laughing with them, joking, playing, talking about whatever comes their way, is the same intimate energy she should be giving you. That's called emotional investment. And when anyone, male, female, dog, or puppy, when any asset of the organic world decides one way or the other to thwart their emotional energy into another object, that is a form of cheating, because that belongs to you. Now, in this case, of course, there's going to be many people who disagree, but it depends on where your value is. It depends on how you were raised, because a person don't have to touch you to donkey dunk with you. You don't have to sit on a person's bed after a hour interlude and you're sweating and panting and all the whoo, that was nice, and okay, time for me to go type of thing. All right, in order for you to have did something with that person's wife or husband or whoever that person may be, just standing there with a good 30 minute or an hour conversation that is very intimate, that is very personal, right? Talking about whatever the wind may come, and definitely tethering into your recesses of your emotions and your intimacies, and you're flirtating with that person. You are actually investing in them, and therefore you are giving away or investing in that person outside of your relationship or your husbandry or your bonding that you have claimed to be diligent and virtuous with, or shall I say loyal by contract or otherwise. So therefore it is a form of cheating, and it is also a form of investment. This is how, here's another thing, gentlemen. This is how, when the advancement of their conversations and their investment begin to grow, when that girl is talking to another man, when she's constantly talking to him 30 minutes at a time, an hour at a time, she's building up her reputation with him, her repertoire, as I like to call it. She's building her bricks over there, and he's also building up his bricks with her. Whereas they're getting to know each other, they are emotionally investing in each other. And with the emotions comes curiosity. It comes your conscious mind, and sometimes even your subconscious mind, because when you are speaking with someone, they can trigger your subconscious mind. They can bring back memories to the fold. They can go into your black box and pull out what you've forgotten about in the past, what you've never thought of before. Or here we go. Here is your killer. Make you feel what you've never felt before in a long time, or haven't felt before for a long time, because you are talking, or you're introduced with this person who's making you feel a certain way. This is how you will get the "I'm not happy." This is how she would jump the fence on you. This is how you get your heart broken. And this is how your relationship ends up disappearing, because the emotions is a valid, important thing. It is a power, whether you like it or not. It just depends on how it's used, and it should not be used for decision making. Okay, it is a tool, and it is also a venomous poison that can destroy an entire village. So if this woman is using her emotions to make decisions, and she's just investing it wherever that she feels is proper, without logic, without using knowledge first, without thinking about the end results, without looking at it or long future planning, okay, she will pack her bags from you. That means her emotional investment, her donkey dunk investment in her time with you, and she will start packing up her luggage and storing them in that particular subject or man in whom she is spending her time with, in whom she is relegating her stress to, and delegating her energy and her emotional stress. This is how a lot of her girlfriends end up being lifetime girlfriends, or they end up girlfriends who are carrying dark secrets in her life. Girlfriends that are keeping packed secrets, and they will never tell anything that have happened before she got married to you, or she became your girlfriend, or what she used to do when she was 12 years old. They won't say anything because they are packed bosom buddies, because they have invested the packages of emotion and investment with each other. Okay. And oftentimes it is an illogical one, whether they like it or not. It becomes illogical because there's many occasions where they fight themselves. They can't even get along, and oftentimes their best friend becomes an anvil in her life. She becomes a problem, and she makes bad decisions because she's using emotions. What I say about emotions, when you use emotions first, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to be a liability for yourself and others around you. So it's not any different whether she's with you in emotional or whether she's with her girlfriend in emotional. She's still going to be a liability even to her own girlfriend. So they end up fighting. All right. But she still has something over you, and that is a long time investment of emotions and secrets and energy that she gave to her best friend and she didn't give to you. So because she have delegated her friend to have her emotions and her energy in the dark recesses of her mind, okay, that means that's where her establishment is, and you can only get a little bit of that, or half of it. Barely even half, I would say, maybe just a quarter of what she have invested in her girlfriend or her friends, and definitely probably even her guy friends, should you be blue pill and silly enough to do that. And some of you are. You feel like, well, because I got girlfriends, I'm allow you to have boyfriends. Okay, you are senseless and silly. That's like playing football. You're on the losing team. The other team have 30 points over you. All you got is about 10 points or something like that. And then what you would say is, well, let's continue the game from this point. We're going to start playing the game from this point. That means you got to catch up 30 points. That means you got to really start doing you got to run that ball. That means you really got to play your game. You got to come up with a serious strategy. And even more so, when that team is already invested. That means if that team already have good, they got linebackers, they got quarterbackers, they got very fast runners. Okay, they're already professional at what they do. So now you're up against something that's almost a lose situation where your chances are very slim, and you got to be even better than them. You got to have a miraculous strategy and game plan in order to succeed. So therefore, it should be zero tolerance. No, you should never think, well, because I have girlfriends, you should have boyfriends. If that's the case, y'all should not be together, because you're going to lose terribly. You might as well go out there and grab you a shovel and dig you a hole and just jump in it. Okay, because it's going to happen one way or the other, because she is going to take advantage of the situation. And the way that the westernized world is operating, okay, you're already at a disadvantage. Okay, be smart. Don't be stupid. Now, I'm going to give y'all a story, and I'm going to get off this assignment of our lesson today. And I'm going to share something with you, and I'm going to break it down in layman's terms. So I say in layman imagination, logic, if you're able to use your imagines and use your conscious mind. Okay, and go into your history a little bit. I had a vision. It was actually a dream, but sometimes my dreams are visions. And no, I'm not in a long-term relationship, and I really don't know this girl. But in this vision, I was fighting. I always fight. You know, this is what I do. It's just in my blood. What can I say? So in my dream, of course, you could say that while I was asleep, I was fighting, going around protecting people and just being the man that I am. And I was running with a group of people, almost like a military squad, right? But we wasn't dressed in military fatigue. We didn't have all the military unit on. It's more like we're more like samurais, if anything, to be funny. But it was like that. I didn't have nothing like that on, but I did have my sword and everything, to be honest with you. Don't want to get you too details, but that's just me. It's in my blood. So me and my squad was in a certain area where we was by a mall area. It was a mall building, and we was like in the parking lot going into the mall. So I assume at this point we was clearing out the mall and rescuing civilians that were in there. So we was clearing it out. So we had to go in there under, it was a secret operation. So we had to be the ones to go and secretly get people out of the building while I would say terminating our enemies at the same time. Okay, getting rid of them. And I find myself going in there in one of the rooms alone while I instructed the other 4 or 5 members to go up the stairs, watch the door, the other one to watch the overhang over there, and the other one to watch the outside of where I was going into. So nobody come up to me and surprise me. And I went into the shower area where there was a woman's shower. There was a man's shower. There's a woman's shower. I heard shower running in the woman's area. Okay, the woman's area. And of course, I figured maybe someone was back there, but I didn't have no choice. You know, we're in a severe emergency situation. Whoever was in there was stupid. You know, they shouldn't have been in there. They should be out of there. Okay, so whatever I encounter is what I encounter. It's like that in emergency situations. But I didn't pretty much know what I was going to face. What I saw actually caught me off guard more than anything. And it wasn't what you thought it was. So I go around the corner and I see the steam, right? And of course, one of the girls was still left in the shower. Grown woman, that is, not girl. Okay, I just call them girls. And so the girl was standing there, and she was, she didn't see me till the last second. But I was like, hey, you need to get out of here. But what struck me wasn't the fact that she was in a birthday suit, because she was hiding behind a curtain. When she pulled the curtain down, her eyes was big as deers. And what she said actually broke my heart. And it woke me up to where I seen things differently. It was an energy more than it is just the fact that she was a female. She said, "Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me." I was like, "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to save you and get you out of here. Look, I'm not, put on some clothes." She said, "No, don't hurt me." And she was standing there like she was a very fragile squirrel or something like that, or a deer in the headlight. I'm like, listen, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to save you. You need to get out of here because, there's, people around here trying to hurt you, and, assassins, okay, basically killers here. Okay. You need to get out of here. Otherwise they're going to get you next. Right. But before I got a chance to finish the explanation, my heart sank to the floor because I felt like I really need to protect her. I pretty much felt like a man. I'm telling you now, I'm giving an example about feelings. Okay, feelings and emotions. At that point, I really just wanted to just drop the sword and just hug her, be like, come on, baby, let's go. I ain't gonna hurt you. And then let's get them, find your clothes. Come on. I ain't gonna hurt you. I got your back. You cool with me. Just, everything's cool. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. I got you. All right. Just, I ain't gonna hurt you, But I was sort of speechless because I never seen I don't see, it's like this. I'm gonna be honest with you. Here in the Western civilization, I don't see a lot of feminine women like men really need to see. I don't see women that really need protection like that. I really don't. I don't see women that I would say deserves, that type of attention where you're like, no, I'm going to take care of you. Let me protect you. Let me be the white knight and just, I can fight all the evil for you. I can just block out all the demons. I'll fight the devil and I'll hold God's hands back to protect you. No, but this girl did because the energy was in her eyes and it was in her aura. She wasn't trying to be a macho woman. She wasn't standing. Listen, she didn't have tattoos on everywhere. Her hair wasn't colored. She didn't have bull rings or anything like that. She was just a natural, beautiful woman. And so it brought the best out of me, out of my subconsciousness as a man. What I tell you, it brought back the imagery of myself and made me feel better at being the man that I was. And all I wanted to do was protect her. So it brought the feelings out of me. And I thought to myself, after I woke up that day, I can never forget. And this was 3 years ago. And I would never forget because it's something that stuck within my subconscious mind because it's rare to actually find that sort of, I can't explain it, feminine energy of a woman who's really a woman who's not trying to be like me, a woman who's not trying to be macho man and walking around and donning a suit and sword and saying that she can fight the world and I'm tough, I'm bad. That's a turnoff for men like myself. I'm already alpha. I'm already the lion in the field. I'm the man. I'm the one with the size 14 shoes and broad shoulders and big, that's me. Okay, you don't have to be that way, but when she's not that way and she's in her zone as a woman, then I'm going to do everything I can to protect her and help her. And of course, yes, the end of the story, everything worked out fine and I woke up, but I was still kind of shaken by it, but it wasn't a nightmare. But I was thinking, well, I really care. I was thinking to myself, I really want this type of woman. That's what I want. I'm thinking, that's the type of girl I could do something for her. And I can see myself being there with her, and taking care of her because she's in her place. She's in a zone of femininity. I didn't say she's feminized. She's not a feminist. I said femininity. She's feminine. She's a woman, a lady, which I just usually call girl to keep things simple. Okay. Now, there's another girl that I thought was kind of attractive, and I'm giving you scenarios here. And that is the Warrior Zenith. The Princess Warrior Zenith. If y'all don't know about her, look it up. She had her own TV show, probably still playing in reruns. Okay. I thought she was very attractive. Long black hair, beautiful Caucasian skin, beautiful eyes. I think her eyes is like grayish type bluish or something like that. I don't know. It depends on wherever the light is shining on her eyes. I thought she was the most, and kind of tall too. Me as an alpha, I like challenge and, seeing a tall girl, I'm always thinking, well, I'll just chop you down to size. But anyway, something to climb on. But anyway, very attractive, looking strong, very dutiful to take care of herself. But as a man myself, comparing her to the girl that I was, saving in the mall, okay, like night and day, I could not see myself protecting a Zenith princess. Okay, if anything, it would be a fast session. We would donkey dunk and that'd be it. That will be it. I couldn't see myself being the man that I am. If she couldn't bring the best out of me, if she got in trouble where a bear was attacking her, I'll probably sit there and watch. I'm sorry. I mean, I just got to be honest with you. I probably would not help her. If she's walking around and she's got a brawny chest and she's swinging her sword and she's fighting everybody and she's dealing with dozens and dozens of enemies, how am I going to stand as an alpha and try to protect her or to feel like a man when it's all said and done, when she can do it all by herself? That's, to me, that's not equal. I do want her to protect herself within the right confines and conditions. Okay, yes, I would need my woman to have the potential to hold her own, because I would need her to take care of my house, to take care of my means, to take care of what we may establish together, right? But when it's as if she's equal to me, or she's out there when she don't need protection, she's able to run her own and operate her own wheels. To me, there's nothing attractive about that. There's nothing emotionally that I can invest with a woman like that. Would I spend an hour with her? Sure. You know, if the bedroom doors closed, would something happen? Probably, absolutely. It's just about a guarantee with that one. But there will be no investment. It won't be something where I'll say, oh, this is my baby right here. Oh, I love this girl. Oh, you know, come on, baby, let's go somewhere. Let's go do this. Let's go hunt some bears. Let's go kill some, let's go get some deers and, you know, put them on a campfire. You know, let's go. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't be attracted. If anything, it will be more like this is my homie. Like this is my bro right here. You know, what's up, bro? And we give each other a fist bump or something like that. But I would not be able. I will be enabled. Well, I'll be disabled to be my best self. I'll be disabled to truly be in my zone as a man. And she would actually be at a disadvantage, because what will happen is, after a certain amount of time, when nature kicks in, when her femininity actually needs her to be feminine, you know, when she has her rough patches in life, when she's done going around hunting bears and swinging through trees and fighting dozens of enemies, now she's ready to settle down. Then she'll be looking for she'll be trying to be like that girl that I was saving in the mall. She'll want to be like her. All of a sudden, now she wants to be the girl who will hide her body behind a curtain and say, "Don't hurt me, don't hurt me." She couldn't do that. I could not ever see her like that. And you'll be surprised how realistic this story is by people that are around you today. Women are like that today. Whereas she'll go out here in the world and she'll pull the jackhammer. She'll be this tough girl and you can't tell her nothing. She's actually one of the homies sitting in the bar right next to you, drinking just like everybody else, acting like everybody else, donning suits just like everybody else. Then what will happen is time comes to play. Time comes in, the wall comes, their nature creeps up on them. And now they're old. They're too old now to go out there, flip around and hunt bears and fight off dozens and dozens of enemies, unless she's this. And here's the result of this. And I'm not talking bad about anybody. Okay, do not get me wrong. All right, this is not an attack on you. So if you get offended, that means you're immature. You don't need to be listening to Morpheus. Go find somebody else who's going to be soft on you. Okay, sometimes this is how lesbianism come in. Or butch. All right, you have two girls who can only please each other because there's no man who's interested in a girl that's just like him. He don't want to be. He's the one walking around with a butch haircut and scruffy jaw, wide jaw, and with his muscles and his strength up there in the shoulders. He don't want to be with a woman that's the same as him. So the only people that are going to be generally, besides blue pill boys who haven't grew up and they love women to bend them over, but generally, the only people or gender that's going to be attracted to her is going to be the same sex, are women who want to be dominated by another woman. So the woman who is a sensitive woman, who is somewhat feminine, is going to be a little attractive to this woman who has male testosterone, that have male energy. So they come out to be a very good couple. Oftentimes you can experience that. You will see it where you'll see this one lady who's brawny and tough like warrior princess Xena, and you see the girl who's just like the partner that she was with in the movie as well, smaller, more petite, more feminine, make mistakes sometimes. She may, fall down in a puddle of mud or something like that. And she's can't handle all her battles. So what happens is Xena will come around and save her. So they end up becoming the best friends, the best butt buddies, and getting emotionally entwined with each other. Next thing you know, they're just lesbian marriage and couple. If that's what they choose to do, and if that's what roles they boat, then, more gifts to them to do so. But that's how it happens. And that's how that energy become kind of distorted. And many times women who grow up like that, if they've been a tomboy, if they've been mistreated, or if they feel like they was with boys the whole time, they had like all brothers, 4 brothers, 5 brothers, and they're the only girl. Oftentimes they end up looking at boy items as an interesting thing. They end up only knowing what boys know and like to do, only being roughhead, only going out there and, getting her knees dirty, where being a feminine, soft species type, or so I like to say animal, is far from her. So therefore, there are many occasions where if she were to dig into the femininity that's somewhere there, or if there is an availability for her to be the feminine in the relationship, then it's considered to be weak. It's considered to be a soft position to be in, because for one, she's not used to it. For two, she never had to, right? Because of her circumstances and how her life have prodded her and promoted her to be what she is. And because she's a lot more comfortable being who she is, which require, what did I just tell you before? Mind control, emotions versus logic. By that time, it's too late. So this may not be an experience for you. I'm being the professor here, and I'm telling you about my experience for me. Okay, as much as I would love to be with the Zenith, okay, I couldn't find myself being in a permanent relationship or looking at it as something that is prominent, because I'd want to wrestle with her all the time. Okay, and I'm not talking about donkey. I'm alpha. I can't help it. It's just, that's something I can't prevent myself from. This is just me. I'm the lion. So I would just be like, when's our next wrestling session? When are we going to step in the boxing ring and box again? Because I'm the only alpha here. And I have to make that absolutely clear. And I don't have to challenge to do that, because I have nothing to prove. I'm just saying that's how this is how I would feel. This is my emotions as an alpha. Could I love her? Sure, of course. Would I pat her on the back? Of course. Would I allow an arrow or a dart to come to her if I can prevent it? Of course I would not allow it. I would thwart it, block it with my shield. I would keep her alive as much as possible. But she will only have a certain level of importance in my life. She will only have a level of importance in my life because she can only bring out a certain part in me. Of course, I would still be the alpha and the lion beating on my chest, or however the situation is, not trying to prove anything. Of course, it will be an inner feeling, but that's not what I want to do with my opposite sex. That's not how I want to feel with the woman that I'm supposed to love. Okay? To feel like I have to challenge this thing, or we are battling each other for the position to be alpha. What kind of twisted situation would that be in? We're trying to always battle each other and make decisions based on what we know best, as both of us being leaders. It would never work out that way. It won't work out that way. And being the experience that I have, as I told you about this before, martial arts and bodybuilding and challenging. Okay, I eat things. I love to eat. And I mean that psychologically. And I'm actually giving you an underlying expression here that I can't really say on YouTube. I like to eat. Okay, so therefore, I'm not, y'all sick. I'm not talking about that. Okay, no, eat competition for breakfast. Okay, that's what I mean. So I wouldn't like that, and it will be an uncomfortable situation. And again, it depends on the man. So my idea, and the one who will be chosen, is the one who was at the mall. She will be the one who's more applicable. She'll bring out the best of me, and it will be something a lot more easier that I can comply with than someone who wants to be like me, because it won't bring out the best. It won't make me, being with Zenith, the warrior princess, won't help me be the man that I am, because I'm already the man that I am. It won't do anything but cause a collision on the often. Now, let's get to the technical part here. I'm going to flip the script on you. I threw a lot of BS at you on purpose because I'm going to flip the script. I did your mind like that. That's how I do as a professor. Now that I got you hooked, I'm going to flip the coin here. Now, I want you to look at the world that you have now around you. Okay? I want you to look at the businesswoman versus the average man. Look at the woman who can feel like, here we go, feel like she can do it all by herself. And she makes her own establishment. She's used to having her own. She's handling her own business, her own bills, so forth, in her conditions, right? And here come a simple, common man who just wants a simple, common relationship, who's looking to advance, who's looking to find a companion he can settle down with. Now, when it comes time to settling down with a woman who's like the princess warrior Zenith, okay, she's used to taking control. You know, Xena is used to being the boss, used to being the one to create the strategy, how to go into a village, how to protect the village, how to fight off whatever minions and trolls and goblins that may be out there. Okay, to her, when you come into her life, you're the lighter small girl that was with her. You know, you're the short girl with I think she had reddish hair, right? You're her. You know, you're not as great as Zenith. In her eyes, you're not. No matter how alpha you are, no matter how much money you got, no matter, you know, how tall of a basketball player you think you are, to Zenith, you're still just a second seat. You're still the passenger driver. So she's still going to look at you and say, well, how do we deal with the situation? You know, and it's going to be like, after you make a decision, okay, well, we're going to do it this way anyway, because I think it'd be best this way. Thank you for your opinion, but I'm going to do it anyway. The only person as well, there was a guy on there, and I'm going to throw this out there. This is getting longer than what I needed to be, but it's okay. There's this guy who played Beastmaster, and he made an appearance every now and then on the Warrior Princess's show, Zenith. And she sort of struggled when she was dealing with him because she couldn't tell him nothing. I'm not like him because he's kind of soft, you know, a little bit. And he laughed a lot and had a smile on his face. I'm sometimes serious. And as an alpha, I just can't be like him. I can't be soft like him. But she struggled a little bit trying to talk to him or to deal with him because he had his own set ways. And what he would do was when Zenith wanted to make a decision on her own, he'd go off somewhere else and be, okay, if that's what you want to do, fine. I'm going to go the back way. Or I'm going to do it this way because that's what I'm used to doing. Listen, this is your lesson. I'm going to go this way. He's the Beastmaster. This guy, I guess he's alpha in his own circle. He's the leader. He was a tough guy. If y'all watch the movie, you would know what I'm talking about. Okay. So she couldn't control him. She couldn't treat him like she treat her lesbian friend or, you know, her girlfriend. Okay, she couldn't do it because he had his own. So she did not know how to deal with him on the often, but to submit a little bit. And here we are. Slow down when you hear that word submit. I made an audio on that. Submitting is not a bad thing. I broke down the word submit. All right. And I do apologize for using that word because some of you haven't learned the lesson yet. I'm gonna wait for you to listen to that audio so you can get what I'm saying. Okay. So I'm going to use another word for you. She had to adjust her lens and to compromise in order to get along with him. And it wasn't easy for her. So on the often, when you deal with, let's transform it again. When you deal with a woman or an individual who's used to having their way, taking control, she's a CEO, she's a boss, right? And telling her pupils and people what to do. Even worse, if she's a mother of 5 kids or 4 kids, 3 kids, 2 kids, she's still going to feel like she's a mother when you are around. Okay, you guys have to understand that. That's why other men tell you, do not get involved with a single mother because she would treat you like you're the 3rd child. Okay, so anyway, similar to that situation, when you combine it together with the woman who's always working, handling her own, got her own place, the list goes on. right? You know, she got her own life established. There is a higher probability that you're going to be doing just like the Beastmaster and Xena. Xena, will be making decisions. You'll look at her and be like, yeah, okay. Then you go somewhere else and do your own thing, because you're used to doing your own thing. So what will end up happening is, when you're dealing with your struggles in life, when you are together trying to be a relationship couple or a power couple, thinking that this is an equality, it's a good idea. I got mine, you got yours, let's do them together. Okay, you are a joke. That means y'all don't do your research. What will end up happening is y'all going to end up dealing with y'all situation separately. You'll be going through the back door, she'll be going through the front door, and whatever works out, works out. Okay, you will always have a separate agenda, and it will be hard for you to collaborate as a team, because both of you are leaders. Both of you are bucks in the woods. You're both bulls coming at each other. You're a bull. She's a bullhead, and you become a bullhead because you used to having your own. Being a bachelor, you're strong-minded. You know what you want. You know, you trust people at a certain level. The same is going to be for her. She's been through something, had her heart broken. She don't trust people. This is why she's taking the reins of the horse. That's why she wants to be the rider, because she don't want to be the sissy bar rider. You know, she don't want to be the passenger of her own car or of the relationship. She's going to want to be the driver. And so therefore, y'all going to be struggling over the steering wheel. You're going to be struggling, and it's going to be a problem. All right. But for my girl who I met at the mall, there will be very little struggle. Would she have the reins every now and then? Probably so. Would she have a voice? Of course. Would she be what do you call that? Respected? Of course. Right. But it does nothing but make things a lot easier, because two people can't go down the same tunnel. You'll get stuck in the tunnel. Somebody got to be in front. Somebody has to be in back. You know, you got to know how to collaborate with each other. Somebody's going to have to compromise, and compromise is a point of relationship. Compromise is a point of life. Compromise is a point of getting along, even in a friendship. You don't even have to be that person does not have to be an intimate partner in your life, an intimate individual. Okay, just being with anybody when you both are adults and you have to mingle your life together to make a decision, a compromise must be a result. It must be a compliance to your relationship or your union. But when you have one gender or person or people who are put on a pedestal, whereas they feel like they are just like the Princess Warrior Xena, you can't win. You might as well forget about it. And what will happen is, and what is happening, whether we like to admit it or not, only the Warrior Zenith should get her fun for 30 minutes to an hour, and you put her right back out there in the forest. She'll go right back out there and pretend like she is the warrior princess. All right. You know, she'll get her fun at 11 o'clock at night when everybody's asleep, sometimes 12. You know, she'll have her fun on Friday, Saturday, girls' night out. You know, you bend her on her back, twist her up in a pretzel, put her on a dresser door, kitchen counter, you know, back patio. Let me stop. Let me quit. You know, the strange attic upstairs, you know, basement where nobody can hear, loud music and wine. Okay, you'll do that. Okay. But would it be a permanent thing? Probably not. Could it be a permanent thing? Probably not. Because she'll be hard to get along with, because she's going to want it her way. She's going to want to make decisions. All right. Now, I know, contrary to what a lot of you may think, this is a vital thing. That's why I told you about the vision that I had. It's vital. This is something that I did not generate myself. I didn't go to sleep and say, you know what, I'm going to force myself to dream like this. I'm going to force myself to. I don't know the woman's face. I don't even know who she is. I never seen her before in my life, but I knew her energy, and it changed my life. It changed me forever, actually, because I was one of those kids who I was actually, and some of you was as well, when we were kids, and it's happening now. They tried to do the same program where you have Superwoman. You got Wonder Woman playing in front of you. You got women rows of women being the boss and the leaders. Bionic Woman. You know, you got women who are so headstrong where men are considered stupid. Cartoons where women are always portrayed as the logical sensible, non-emotion wise person, while the man is the fool. The man is the dummy. The man is kicked around. The man is always making a bad decision. The man is out of his mind. The man is no good with his money. The man to go out there and, he's just a fumbling buffoon. That's what they wanted to portray. And that program has been going on for years. And how they do it is they start with children. They start putting that in little boys' minds, so boys' minds can think that his mother is Superwoman, or every woman that he meets is a warrior zenith, and she deserves to be in that position, and he needs to respect her and kneel to her every will and be happy to be this peon and this pack mule for her. So therefore, I am glad that I was gifted to have that vision, because it woke me up. It woke me up. I said, wait a minute. I've been watching Superwoman the whole time. I've been watching, who's that woman on, what's that? Not Wildcats, the Thundercats, the woman in Thundercats, right? I've been watching Superwoman. I've been watching Bionic Woman, Terminator Woman. What was her name? Sarah Connor, watching girls like that. So I was thinking as a child, well, I guess that's the type of woman I need to be with. I need to be with this tough woman who's going around and being able to punch boulders and fly like Superman. I guess that'd be a good idea. So when that vision came to me, that was actually a gift from the universe, or we could say the real energy of nature, of God like nature, that woke me up. That's why it hit me hard when I was standing there when she said, "Protect me." I said, wait a minute. Wait. I don't hear this often. Wait a minute. What is this creature? It took me for a loop. I was standing there like, whoa, I never felt this before. My heart just like pulled at me. I just wanted to, like I said, I wanted to drop everything. Like, wait a minute. No, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm like, dang, who is this? I said, you know what? That's a woman. That's a woman. Survey says, ding, 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 ding. That's a woman. Like, she is, wow. Just the way she stood, so defenseless, big eyes. Okay, I said, you know what? That's the way it's supposed to be. Like, okay, I really feel like a bear now, 6 feet tall. Now I feel like I'm 8 feet tall just because of her. Right? So I've learned from that piece by piece as years gone on. I was able to see the differences, different type of women. And I've avoided being in the traps where this woman say, oh, you're going to do whatever I tell you to do. You're going to be the pack mule. You go out there, you hold my purse, you push the grocery cart. You have 2 or 3 of my kids where I'm going to take from you. You marry me for 4 years, 5 years, 10, 11, so I can get alimony from you. You go ahead and get stuck with me for like 20, 40, 30 years. Then I'll get rid of you when you're too old, to the point where you can't operate good for yourself, because I'm going to get all the best years out of you. I was saved, because most of them are warrior princess zeniths. And the same women that, you can have fun with them. The same ones talking about, I'm independent. I can do it all by myself. I don't want to be emotional. That girl that I met was emotional. I don't want to be emotional. Emotions is for weaklings. That's because you don't know how to use your emotions properly. That means you don't know how to focus by having self-control for yourself. That means you don't have no control over yourself, because your emotions are valid. It's important at the right time. So you just want to walk around like you are a Terminator, a machine. But you'll say, I'm still a woman. I'm going to poke you, but like, no, you're not. You made out of wires and metal. But when you are chuckly, when you got emotions, when you feel a little bit, when I notice that you have a little bit of emotions going on, you are honest with yourself, you are open and forthgoing, then I'll say, you know what? That's a live woman there. She's breathing. Therefore, I can breathe. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I made it longer than what I needed to be, and I just wanted to throw that in at the end to entertain you and amuse you at the same time, to give you a little difference there, because some people just don't get it. Oftentimes, some people don't know that, because here's the thing. A lot of boys are raised up with only warrior princess zeniths. That's it. That's in you. And I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say this. That's mostly what we have left. That's mostly what we have left because the environment that we're in, you know, they're programmed to do that. That's why they put themselves in situations where they consider themselves to be the lower species. They consider themselves as men to be trained and raised to be used only for a financial bank, a walking ATM, because they're raised to do that. Because the only reason why Xena will come by and need you is when she needs to take something from you to give to herself so she can remain as the warrior princess Zenith. She's not going to come to you as the modest, decent, balanced and neutral female to want to join you, to support you. Why would she want to support you when she can only support herself, when she's used to supporting herself? All you can be is an ATM. All you can be is something that she can sharpen her blade on so she can go back out there and swing for herself and not need you. And you'll be the reason why she's living like that, because all you are is just something to sharpen up her blade on you, on your life, on your finances, on your time, and on your energy. But then when you ask for the favor, what's she going to say? Oh, I can't do that. I'm too busy. Or next time. Or my bad. I looked over you. Maybe next time. I got other things to do. I'm too busy. Because guess what? While she's out there doing her thing, there's going to be plenty of peons, plenty of servants, plenty of people that she would consider to be more valuable than you, because you're only one person. She has a denomination of people following her and propping her up. That's why she's the warrior princess Xena. And where are you at? Where do you line up, men, with this girl? And make it modern. Make it today. Think of the women today that got everything propped up, taken care of, government assistance programs. Where are you? Where's your system? Where's your concern? Where's your group of people? Where's your support? Huh? Where's your replacement wife of virtue? Huh? Where's your group of women who say, oh, you know, this guy needs, let me provide for him. No, it's all about, let me provide for myself. And if I'm going to get with him, I want to make sure that he's also going to provide for me. What am I going to do for him? Nothing. Nothing. There you go. There's the cherry on top of the cake at the end. I know I did my just diligence. All right. You have been served here in the Academy of Wildman. I've enjoyed this conversation with a lot of extra in the end. Of course, I'm going to say it backwards. Subscribe, share, and like this audio, and continue to contribute to this channel. You got the connection down there, how you can contribute, and take a look at that book.